All right, so we all know Mike Tyson is returning to the ring after about 20 years away, taking on none other than Jake Paul. Mike Tyson will be 58 years old by the time this happens, and they're going to be promoting the fight. And as we know, the expression goes,
there is no such thing as bad publicity.
Well, there's some bad press regarding this one. Mike Tyson was involved in a medical emergency. Paramedics had to be rushed onto the plane. They asked for a doctor. It flashed up on people's screens. Is there a doctor on board? The doctors had to come on and take Mike Tyson off the plane. It is not a good look, and this is not good press when you're trying to promote a fight and you're 58 years old. Listen, I've got no problem with Mike Tyson. He's 58. I respect him. This is taking massive balls of him to go in there against Jake Paul, even though he's by far the better boxer. He's got way more experience, miles on the clock, long in the tooth, and he's got medical emergencies, and apparently he's got ulcers, okay? That's the excuse that they have given. So,
I have sciatica every now and then. It flares up, and when it flares up, I can't even talk.
As we know, it's very dangerous these days flying on planes. Doors are flying off. People are dying from turbulence on Singapore Airlines, and if your name's Mike Tyson, then you're going to be carted off by a bloody doctor. Anyway, so here's the story. So according to eyewitnesses, Mike had some kind of a medical emergency on the plane and paramedics boarded. Before the paramedics arrived, the flight issued an announcement asking for a doctor. The message even came on everybody's screens. So before he got on the plane, he was hanging out at the Admiral's Club. He's a first-class passenger. He's in the private lounge. And there was a lot of buzz, right? It's Mike Tyson. The man's an absolute goddamn legend. So a lot of people recognized him. They all wanted pictures. And he was very accommodating. He was then escorted away from the gate because the flight was delayed, because the gate person said the plane was too hot because it had been sitting there all day on the runway and had to cool down. Passengers got a pre-recorded message asking if there was any medical personnel on the plane about 30 minutes before they were scheduled to land. Medical professionals were asked to contact flight attendants or press the call button because another passenger needed assistance. Then our screen said medical assistance needed and repeated the same thing the eyewitness adds. He was in first class, but we were in an exit row. They asked us to stay on the plane and landed so paramedics could enter. The stewardess said something like, he's a really important passenger, so we want to make sure he's okay. And the person says, I knew it was him. I just mouthed the words, Mike Tyson. And the stewardess nodded, yes. So apparently once the plane landed, it was delayed another 25 minutes as the passengers waited to get off the plane while paramedics dealt with Mike Tyson. So here is the statement. Thankfully, Mr. Tyson is doing great. He became nauseous and dizzy due to an ulcer flare-up 30 minutes before landing. That is what his rep said in a statement to In Touch. He's appreciative to the medical staff that were there to help him. Now, listen, maybe it was an ulcer flare-up. I don't know anything about ulcers, but what I do know is that the man is going to be 58 years old soon. A man in the prime of his life doesn't have a problem sitting on a plane for a few hours. That's getting a little hot. That's getting a little stuffy, okay? The fact that he's got an ulcer and he can't sit on a plane for 2 hours and then the paramedics have to run on, take him off, probably in a stretcher, that's not a good look. That is not a good look. And guess what? Jake Paul's out there saying that someone's going to die in the ring.
As soon as it turned into a pro fight, one of us has to die.
Listen, I'm not going to make any jokes at Mike Tyson's expense. You know, I could say someone's going to die before the fight at this bloody rate. Mike Tyson, absolute legend, but 58 years old, right? This is just a great example of why a fight like this should not be going ahead. Mike Tyson is not the same person. We know there's video clips out there. And he's looking fast, and he's looking brutal, and he's looking deadly, and he's got the power. But it's easy to edit up a quick little TikTok video. You know, a few seconds looking good. You can see the cut shots. You see the interludes. Their editor is not as good as my guy, John Brannigan, okay? You can see the edits, okay? You can look good for a couple of seconds, but try doing that sustained over 8 2-minute rounds against a guy that's in his prime. I'm not talking shit about Mike Tyson. I'm talking shit about Jake Paul. Mike Tyson wants to test the waters, see if he's still got it. He wants to make some money. He wants to feel alive. He wants to get back in the ring, okay? And he wants to do what he does best, okay? But that time has passed. That ship has sailed. That plane has left the runway, but not for a while because it was delayed and it was hot on the plane, and then Mike Tyson got an ulcer flare-up and had to leave on a bloody stretcher. I don't know about the stretcher, and I don't know about the statement. Of course, they're going to say that he had an ulcer flare-up. They're not going to tell the truth. Maybe it was an ulcer flare-up. Maybe a doctor can tell me in the comments whether or not that is a serious issue, right? But I've never heard that before in my life. I think the man is pushing 60 and he's got some medical problems. And he was having a bit of a funny turn. Maybe he just was. Maybe he had a bit of food poisoning. Maybe he ate something in the first class lounge that didn't agree with him. Maybe it was some crusty old shrimp or something like that. So yeah, maybe he got some food poisoning or something like that. We just don't know. But what we do know is that he was carted off a plane by paramedics. They did ask for medical assistance. It flashed up on the screen. That's not a good look, okay? When all the controversy is about his age, okay, and then he's getting into these kind of situations, it doesn't look good. When he's going on interviews and he's not quite as, with it as what he once was. Mike Tyson, I love listening to him speak, but he speaks with the cadence of an older man these days. If he's speaking a little bit slower because he's older, he's going to be throwing his hands a little bit slower because he's older. He's not going to be able to take the shots like a younger man can. And Mike Tyson is going to go out there, and I still think he's got a potential to knock out Jake Paul. In that first couple of rounds, he's still going to be dangerous. We know the last thing to go is the power. But Jake Paul's in the prime of his life. He's 27 years old, and he's just cherry-picking another opponent to bolster his resume, to make himself look good. And it is absolutely embarrassing. It's a shame. It's a sham. It's utter horse shit. Claims to be a fighter, talks about fighting Canelo and all these people and calling out proper fighters that are way past their prime, fighting Anderson Silva, fighting Tyron Woodley when the fight had left him a long time before, fighting Ben Askren, a man that's never thrown a punch in his life, started his career beating up a basketballer, okay? Fair play, he beat Anderson Silva, but Anderson Silva was almost 50 as well by the time that they fought. And now he's going the other way because he lost to Tommy Fury, the one proper boxer that he fought. He lost. So instead of the years of the challengers coming down, instead of the competition getting a bit younger and actually being boxers, they're getting older. They're getting way older. They're pushing 60 and they can't even make it to LAX. They can't even make it on a short flight without paramedics coming on and carting them off. Listen, if you see this, Mike, I'm a big fan. I am a massive fan. So I'm not talking shit about you. I'm talking about Jake Paul, and I wish you nothing but the best of luck in this fight. Go out there and be a problem for the problem child. Land those signature shots. Rip him to the body. Make him throw up. Knock him out cold. Do whatever you got to do. And I hope it goes your way. I'm just saying, once again, Jake Paul's opponent is taking off a plane because he's not well. Okay, because of an ulcer. I don't think it was an ulcer. It's just a guy getting old, getting to the senior years of his life. Because the reality is he's just getting old. Do you know what I mean? Whether or not it was an ulcer, he's probably riddled with arthritis all over his body. He's not thinking as fast. He's not talking as fast. He's not boxing as fast. But he's going to show up July 20th because he's a real goddamn man. Anyway, what do you think about this? Mike Tyson rushed off due to a medical emergency. What do you think about this fight? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, ring the bell. See you soon.